Hello everyone, and welcome to a special holiday edition of SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout here with my colleagues Dave Deacon and Austin Moore. And this time of year we like to take a look back at some of our most memorable stories of the past 12 months. And without question, the drought of 2011 is at the top of our list this year. And of course it impacted the entire state, but nowhere really more than western Oklahoma, which is your home, Austin.
Yeah, and we got a chance to go there this summer, but you know, it was one of those things that was really hard to see because the way the state looked then, especially out in Roger Mills, it looked like it should look this time of year. It was so brown and so dry. There were no cattle to be found as we drove through, you know, thinking we'd get some good shots of some cattle. You couldn't find them. And it really was very hard to see. There were so many folks there that I grew up with, that I knew, and we got to see what they were doing. It was just seeing the pain in their eyes was devastating.
Since early fall 2010, ranchers like Chuck Milner have seen less than 5 inches of rain. Some, much less.
This isn't the first drought that this area's seen.
No, but it is the most severe. I've talked to people that were here and remember the Dust Bowl, and I haven't really looked at the records, but I've been told that during the Dust Bowl they were always able to get a crop up. So probably on an annual basis, this, I don't know, but this may be the even worse than that, coupled with the heat that we're having.
And then to compound that problem, they're dealing with record high feed prices. And this situation has created record high hay prices.
So I got a call from Tennessee yesterday. A guy wanted to sell me some hay. That's 954 miles away from Elk City, Oklahoma. That'd make that bale of hay worth about $92 time it got here. It's just unfathomable. You just can't make that work.
And with that realization, the sell-off began.
We've had sales last 23 and a half hours. Start at 8 in the morning and go till 7:30 the next morning, all the way straight through selling cattle. It's just sad because the guys are selling out their entire herds. The guys that spent 20, 25, 30 years building up the exact genetics they want, and they're having to sell them.
But that also speaks to how we've learned from those past experiences. We're drier than we were in the 30s, but yet we're not having catastrophic dust storms.
It's part of our history that extreme drought goes with extreme heat, and the extreme heat increases the extreme drought.
In your time of farming, have you ever seen it this hot and this dry at the same time?
You know, I guess I probably haven't. There's some, you know, like my dad, he's 74, he probably has seen it this hot and dry before.
1980 was really bad, but we started out wet. This started out dry in June, and it's been dry ever since.
And obviously you're looking at your corn here, just nothing good you could say about it, is
No, it just was too dry.
Meanwhile, in cotton country, southwest Oklahoma, it's the driest it's been in years.
The dry land crop has unfortunately just absolutely melted down on us. These fields have been, essentially came into bloom at about 5 nodes above white flower, which by any reasonable definition, that's essentially cut out at first bloom, which means we had no significant amount of yield potential on most of the dry land fields that we're surveying.
It's something that we will recover from and we will get through, but to explain it in words about what it actually means, there's economic impacts, but I think the psychological impact for most of us are pretty tremendous.
Of course, the drought, just one part of the weather picture in Oklahoma this year. We really saw a year of extremes. Dave, weather's kind of your area of interest.
Yeah, 2011 was one of the most dramatic years when it does come to weather. I mean, we had extreme heat, we had extreme cold. Parts of Oklahoma got down to -20 for an actual air temperature, and extreme snowfall amounts. I mean, Spavinaw had outrageous amounts of snow, I mean, in the 20s of inches. And then yet a year of extreme drought in southwest Oklahoma, exceptional drought. The drought that covered the southwest and the western parts of the state actually had to have a special classification, a D4 drought, which is exceptional. And that's not something that they just give. They have to show cause as to why it should be an exceptional drought. So This has been 2011 has been a record year for weather and for climate.
And we also saw, of course, tornadoes in the mix.
We did.
And we can't go without mentioning the earthquake that everybody talked about.
Yeah, the largest or the strongest earthquake ever recorded in Oklahoma happened just a couple months ago. And actually, there was a rare November tornado that hit one of OSU's research stations, this one in Tipton, and it caused some major damage and actually wiped out the Mesonet station there. And it's interesting to see what they got from the research of the tornado just before it hit that station. There were 3 Mesonet research stations that had tornadoes either hit them or go right by them, and they've collected some amazing data that they'll be able to use in the future.
And we're happy to say, though, they're rebuilding down there,
Yes.
and the research work will go on.
And it will go on.
Now, all the stories we cover, of course, mean a lot to us, but there is one that really touched us right here in our hearts more than any other this year, and that was down in Cleveland County.
All right, very moving story, very great kids, good people to meet.
I think what stood out for me was all the kids working together for the good of everyone.
Oh, good job. Ready? You ready, Donald?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
It is a big day for Donald Kraft and perhaps in some ways the future of agricultural education. As he steps into the show ring with his pig, the stands are filled to capacity with supporters. Everyone's rooting for him and his fellow classmates at Noble High School.
This way, this way.
The event is called the Special Olympics Unified Livestock Show, better known as SOLS.
Donald is a relative newcomer to showing livestock. Noble FFA chapter president Forrest Key is more experienced.
I know, let's turn them around and drive them straight towards the judge. Let's give them a front view. In 8th grade, I started by showing these sheep, and after that, I wanted to move on to the pigs, so this year's my first year to show pigs.
That's why these two have paired up. So have other FFA members and special needs students.
Graduated as a sophomore at Noble High School. He likes wood shop,
including the co-announcer, reading his script written in Braille.
It gives them a chance to have kids who probably most likely would never get the chance to actually do it, get that opportunity.
The annual event first got its start here in 2009.
At the time when we did this, no other program that we knew of in the United States was doing anything like this.
Now word is spreading. Chapters in other communities are interested. Even the FFA National Circuit is taking notice.
We were selected as one of 10 finalists for the Models of Innovation area at Nationals, and we got to send 2 students to compete in a room, and they got to go over 3 activities that we did, and this was one of the activities that we presented, and the kids worked really, really hard on their presentation, and when it was all done and the smoke cleared, we got to be national champions, so we were really excited about that.
I work for the county extension office, and so I'm familiar with all the school systems, but I have children that go to school in Lexington, just south of here, and I'm thinking as I'm watching this would be such a great idea, you know, for each local group to do it, or on a county level to have an opportunity like this.
An opportunity to shine while learning how to handle and care for animals.
First of all, they get used to the sheep and the pigs, and then we'll wash them and then blow dry the sheep and clip the hogs, and then we'll oil down the hogs with a non-illegal oil, and then we take them and show them.
Say, here, little pig, come this way, little pig, and walk them around a little bit.
At the same time, FFA members are gaining valuable life experience.
A lot of kids, in the show circuit are extremely competitive, and if they don't win the class or win the show, they get upset and they're very frustrated because they don't get to do that. We've taken all that away, and we've made it to where it's about the kids.
It's awesome to be able to take out a kid that never gets to be around any type of livestock or have anything to do with the agriculture industry. And so now we get to take these kids and put them in a show ring with livestock animals, and they get their blue ribbon.
In addition to his ribbon, Donald's proud to take home an FFA t-shirt.
We are hotter than a smoking gun.
So you like these pigs?
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
It was wonderful to watch the interaction between all the kids. really seem to be interested in the animals, but interested in helping one another and have a good experience in the show ring and, you know, learn about the animal. And it was just really, really fun to watch.
We've kind of gone back to the roots of what agricultural education is all about, and it's about the kids.
It's also about going above and beyond.
We like to give back to our community and to our school for all of the support that they give us by taking these kids and letting them show.
And giving everyone here a glimpse at the future of agricultural education, just as the first line of the official FFA creed says, with a faith born not of words, but of deeds.
This is a great time of the year. We can reflect on all the many blessings that we've had in agriculture this past year. Living in a free country and living in a great state. In those of us in the Division of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources, want to wish each of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, on behalf of the Sanders family, I want to send a sincere Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday to each and every one of you, and may your 2012 be blessed.
I'm completing my 30th year with Oklahoma Cooperative Extension. I want to thank you for your support, wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Have you ever wondered how Santa Claus and his reindeer make that very, very long journey every Christmas Eve? Well, the scientist in me indicated that I had to try to look some things up and see if I could better understand how this big journey actually takes place. First of all, I found that historians report that reindeer have been domesticated by man for over 5,000 years. And we all know Santa Claus is no spring chicken himself. He's been around a long time. So I think we're pretty comfortable in the fact that he knows where he's going to go and they're not going to get lost. You know, some people will be concerned, how do those reindeer get through that entire evening and have enough to eat? Well, remember, reindeer are just like cattle in some ways. They have 4 stomachs and they can store a lot of feed to utilize throughout that entire evening. Santa Claus knows that if he feeds those reindeer a good meal of something like hay or moss, that digests more slowly than something like grain. And you remember, just like your mother used to say, get a good breakfast so it'll stick to your ribs. Well, it's the same concept. This hay will stick around with those reindeer throughout the entire evening and provide them the energy that they need to fly around the world. How do they keep warm up there in the sky on a cold, cold winter's night? Well, remember, reindeer, they're up there at the North Pole anyway. They have a very thick fur, traps a lot of little pieces of air in around the hair, and that provides a really warm blanket all over their body, so they're very, very comfortable on that cold winter night. Now, you might be concerned about where there's reindeer if they get thirsty on the ride. Well, in their North Pole environment, you know, the water's all frozen anyway, so they're used to just getting a little mouthful of snow that'll take in and get the water that they need, and they're going to get that off a rooftop if they get thirsty. In warm climates, they can just stop by any little lake or pond and get a drink if necessary, so we don't need to worry about our reindeer that Santa Claus is using getting too thirsty. Now, what about that part about how do reindeer fly? Boy, that's a tough one. But let's do some math, and I think we can figure this out. First of all, we know that reindeer can run very, very rapidly. When researchers in Alaska do studies on reindeer, they found out that a baby reindeer, 1 day of age, can outrun the fastest graduate student that they've got. Well, if they're that fast at 1 day of age, just think how rapidly they can run when they're adults. So they can get up a lot of speed. Adult reindeer, they're different than our whitetail that we have here in Oklahoma. They have very long antlers.
The antlers may reach as long as 4 feet. Well, think about this. They've got 4 feet of antlers on each side, so each reindeer has about an 8-foot antler span. That then multiplied by the fact that Santa Claus generally uses 8 reindeer, 8 times 8, that's 64 feet of antler span, 72 if he uses Rudolph, and that is about twice as wide as the typical wingspan on a small plane that can fly at any time. So with all that speed and all that antler span, doesn't it make sense that they can certainly get off the ground? Well, you know, there's a couple of things that we ought to clear up. You've probably heard the song about up on the housetop, click, click, click. Well, reindeer do have a tendon that goes over their knee that when they walk makes a clicking sound. But the part about them having tiny reindeer paws, that one's not correct. Reindeer have a large foot that helps them dig through the snow to get the moss, to help them as they land on these roofs have a real big surface to land on so that they can stop in that short area. Hey, I think that from what we've found about reindeer, that they're going to make that trip very well this year. And for me, I tell you what, I'm going to be good between now and Christmas because I want to make sure that Santa Claus and those reindeer stop at my house this year. And we look forward to visiting with you next time on SUNUP's Cow-Calf Corner.
I'm Jody Campici, an Extension Policy Economist, and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Randy.
I'm Wayne.
We're from Shop Stop. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
If we had some sheep in the background, I'd say Feliz Navidad, but seriously, I would like to wish all the Oklahoma producers and indeed everyone in Oklahoma a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and my best wishes for a joyous and prosperous New Year in 2012.
Homecoming, of course, is always a really special time on the OSU campus, and here at SUNUP, we like to do something special too. So this year, we spent some one-on-one time with a football icon.
For over a quarter of a century, this is how you've seen Bullet. But he has a whole nother life away from the stadium. This ranch between Sapulpa and Tulsa has been where Ty and Jennifer Cunningham have taken care of Bullet for the last 7 years. They've always had a special tie to the program.
We both had been former Spirit Riders in the athletic department. I'd had some interaction with them through the rodeo team, so they were familiar with us, and they called and wanted us to take over that program, and we were happy to do it so that the tradition could continue and students would still have the opportunity to participate in that.
It all came together because an ag education professor, Dr. Eddie Finley, had an idea.
How tremendous it'd be to have that working cowboy type image out on the football field. And so with the help of the athletic department and some support through the College of Agriculture at the time and such, started the program.
John Beal Jr. was the first Spirit Rider. He rode his mare, Della, I believe was her name, and then he also had a Border Collie dog that would follow him out on the field.
And the tradition has continued, but for the first time ever, there are 2 Spirit Riders.
Both of the people that are riding this year have been on the team. They do an excellent job, and they were both seniors this year, so we wanted to give them both a chance because I have complete confidence in both of the riders. So we wanted to give them both a chance to have their time in the light and be able to ride Bullet.
We share all the same responsibilities, we do all the same stuff, but you know, it's all the same. Like whether you're the Spirit Rider or you're part of the ground crew, you know, you all share the same responsibilities to the public and to Bullet.
When game day rolls around, Bullet makes the trek from Stone Ridge Ranch to the OSU Equine Center, where several hours before kickoff, his team will get him ready for his awaiting public. Then
head off through campus to the Alumni Center.
Traveling through campus is kind of fun. You get to see all the families and the tailgaters, and they're all hollering at Bullet, and we'll be cheering, and it'll be very fun. And then we stop at the Alumni Center and we unload, and there will be a line of young and old ready for pictures with Bullet.
we'll take pictures for about 30 to 45 minutes.
After the lines die down and everybody has their pictures with Bullet, it's time to start thinking about the game.
And then we'll warm up on the lawn just next to the Alumni Center.
We have our regulars that are on the front row, and I always like to interact with them. They've been the same ones like they have been for years.
We'll drive back through campus and drive down the tunnel to Bullet's stall and wait for the kickoff.
Kind of like the guys with the dark glasses and the earpieces that watch everybody around the president, Bullet's team, in cowboy hats, is watching for things that may scare him, like...
He's scared of pom-poms. He's scared of tubas. You know, we try to avoid the tubas as we're walking in. And the pom-pom girls are very nice, and they put them behind their back as they walk, you know, into the tunnel. And so you just adjust to those little quirks that each horse has. The old horse was afraid of Pistol Pete's head. So when Pistol Pete would walk by, he would turn around. This horse could care less if Pistol Pete walks by.
So what's it like to ride out after the football team scores?
It gives me the chills. For me and Bullet are the center of attention, and it's just a rush through your body.
As the crowd roars, your heart is pounding out of your chest.
So next time you're at the game, go ahead and look over to the southwest tunnel. For a black horse named Bullet, one of 2 spirit riders on his back, and the people who make it possible for this Oklahoma State University tradition to ride on.
The most memorable shot in that package, I think, is where we see Bullet's view riding out onto the field. How did you guys get that shot in particular?
Well, we've got a small camera that we'll attach. I mean, we use this thing on combines and tractors and planters and all this, and we decided, hey, let's strap it to this black horse as it runs out on the field. And we did. We attached it right in front of the saddle horn there, and it really worked out well. But I tell you, one problem with that is I've got a camera on my shoulder as I'm trying to go turn this thing on, and I bumped into Bullet. And from there on, the horse was not real fond of me. And you're in the small tunnel, and he's a little jumpy anyhow. He hadn't got to run in a while, but every time that horse would get a look at me, he starts spinning around, and I'm thinking I'm going to get kicked for sure, but made it out alive.
Well, and actually one of my jobs while standing on the sideline was, if that does fall off, I'm running out there in front of 60,000 people to grab this little $200 camera and run back on the sideline and maybe be a highlight reel for ESPN or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Now, of course, football, big news. Oklahoma State, great season. Bullet was busy during that game.
Yeah, he ran. We were actually done shooting by halftime because we had several runs.
Well, we figured we were going to take all game to get 4 or 5 good runs and good, everything to work right. And as it worked out, we had, I think, 4 in the first quarter. It was Kansas, and the guys just obliterated them. So that horse was really busy, and at halftime, they put him up.
And actually, one of the cool things about that was at halftime, they got close to, or just before halftime, they got close to scoring again, and they had already put Bullet down in his luxury accommodations under the stadium, and they came down and said, "Hey, Zach, do you want to go again? I mean, they're within scoring," and he said, "Sure." So they had to get Bullet out of the tunnel, out of his luxury accommodations and through the tunnel, and you have to bear in mind, which you have to bear in mind, Bullet's afraid of tubas, he's afraid of anything large like that, sparkly objects, the pom-poms. So I mean, they had to really make sure that Bullet was going to be safe as he went out the tunnel for his halftime
Frankly,
run.
we stepped in and we're pushing band kids aside and get out of here. No, this horse is going to hurt you. And kind of shoving them around.
Yeah.
And not only was this a fun story for people who love horses, but really it's been very well received.
We've had over 3,000 views of that story on our YouTube site, and has been shared from our Facebook site almost 600 times. So it's really a neat story that everybody's embraced. If they're KU fans or if they're O State fans, or just horse lovers, they get to see how something like just a horse can be such a great inspiration to a team.
Well, guys, I know how much you guys enjoyed the story, so I got you something to remember the Bullet story by for your Christmas presents.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Nice.
Here comes Bullet. Very cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So there you go. And we certainly thank all of you for watching and supporting SUNUP this year. We leave you today with some of our 2011 bloopers. Have a wonderful holiday.
October is traditionally a time of the year where spring calving cow herds are going to have those calves weaned. Oh, he got me. Let's try that again. I'm going to see if I can. I can't even move them. Go, guys. Hey, go.
Here lately too, so. What is your problem?
Hurry up, I want a drink.
A while ago in the middle of that other one, they were back there yawning like crazy.
Man, I want some water. And I'll just start off with and one of the speakers at the event was Chad Gotze. And Chad, what are some of the things that producers need to be thinking about now as far as planting at work?
Yep. Make sure my hair's not too, well, sometimes it gets a little big. Okay, that's gonna look really good on camera.
Oh, thank you.
Especially with our little green wheat behind us.
I'll make it look good.
Okay.
As the cold winds move out of the north into Oklahoma, the cattle markets are kind of warming up, aren't they? Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Well, Mrs. Cleaver. Okay.
Joining us once again for the latest in You're Not Livestock Markets. All right, in 3.
Come back this way. I'm going to set you up nicely with that barn right behind you.
What do you think about doing more interviews on fences?
Well, you know, it's not really my best pose, or, you know, and it's not really the most comfortable situation to be sitting in, but maybe a bale of hay. I don't mind getting on top of some round bales or something.
That's awesome. Let's see what we got.
Okay.